Now, before we get into it, let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at someone on television, polished, confident, clearly influential, and thought, there is no way someone like me ends up there? Well, Tana Perino's story exists specifically to challenge that thought. She grew up in a rural Wyoming ranch life, Rocky Mountains in the background, not exactly the pipeline to Capitol Hill. And yet, she became the White House press secretary, the second woman ever to hold that title in American history. So, how does that happen? Let me break it down. So, lesson one is that toughness and gentleness aren't opposites. Dana's values were shaped early. When she was 8 years old, she was out with her grandfather when they came across one of their horses with a broken leg. Her grandfather did not hesitate. He grabbed his rifle and ended the animal's suffering right there. Dana sucked at the peak and it shook her. She went completely silent for the rest of the drive home. But here is a moment that stayed with her. Her grandfather quietly placed his hand on her knee. No words, just acknowledgement. I know. I see you. That gesture taught her something profound. Real kindness, something looks hard from the outside. Short term pain, long term compassion. It's a lesson that quietly runs through everything she did later in her life. Lesson 2. Your environment is your education. Her mother, Jan, worked with refugees escaping the Soviet Union during Cold War. Hearing those stories firsthand gave Dana an early visceral understanding of what American freedom actually means. Not a slogan, but as something people risk everything for. Her father, Leo, he subscribed to nearly every major newspaper and from the third grade onward, Dana and her sister were required to read the Denver Post and the Rocky Mountain News every single day. Then their dad would squeeze them on it. Most kids that age were watching cartoons on Sunday mornings. Dana was asking her parents to go to early church service so that she could get home in time for political talk shows. That's not normal. It tells you everything. The climb from campus radio to Capitol Hill. She went on to study mass communications at Colorado State University with minors in Spanish and political science. She worked that 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. shift at the campus radio station. She completed in forensics and she co-hosted a political debate show and eventually got her own weekly show on Colorado politics called Capital Journal. That show got her in the rooms, those rooms that her connections, and those connections combined with the resume that was impossible to ignore landed her Capitol Hill internship right after graduation in 1995. She was 7 years old the first time she saw Washington DC fireworks from the plane window and fell in love with the city. Now she was going for there for real. The peak, the White House press secretary. After years of press secretary work, a brief move to England, marriage to British businessman Peter McMahon, and jumping into Bush campaign, Dana Perino was hired as a deputy White House press secretary in 2005. 2 years later, the word deputy disappeared from her title, and then in 2009, when she and the Bush administration left the White House together, Fox News called. She joined as a commentator, eventually co-hosting The Five and later hosting Daily Briefing with Dano Perino. And here is what my takeaway is that what makes this story is powerful isn't just destination, it's the texture of the journey. It is it is the grandfather's hand on the knee, the newspaper at the breakfast, 2 a.m. radio shift, the phone call to congressman asking for reference. Success, as Dino Perino's story shows, that is rarely one big leap. It's 100 small bets on yourself made consistently over time with politeness and persistence in equal measure. She keeps one Zen card in her medicine cabinet. It reads, say little, but when you speak, utter gentle words that touch your heart. Be truthful, express kindness, abstain from vanity. This is the way. First thing she sees in the morning, last thing at the night. Not a bad mantra to borrow. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next book summary. Thank you very much.